What's up, people? Today I want to talk about that dude. And when I say that dude, what I mean is that guy that we always see, but you don't want to be like him. When I talk about that dude today, I'm speaking on that dude that shows up to a bodybuilding competition thinking that he looks better than he actually does, and really doesn't even belong there. So before I even get there, let me go ahead and give you my rundown of my competition experience. Um, First off, let me say that the first competition I actually went to was the first competition that I actually saw in person. Um, when I decided I wanted to compete, I just started a new job and I didn't really have the luxury of taking a weekend off or a Saturday off to go check out a competition like I really should have. So, I took a chance and I learned everything as far as mandatory poses, what the posing routines were all about, and just everything in general from YouTube. I learned all of it from YouTube. um it just so happened everything worked out pretty good. The first show I did it's called the Carolina Supernatural. It was in '09 and it was in Spartanburg, South Carolina. um I started off at 270, and I wanted to give myself enough time because I wanted to make sure I was shredded, and shredded as far as a drug tested competition, as shredded as I could possibly be, and I felt like I met that. I started off at 270 plus, and my competition weight, that first competition, was 169, and I did that in a little over a year. Um, but first competition was '09, Carolina Supernatural Spartanburg. Second competition was my first NPC competition. It was non-tested. The Palmetto Classic, what was called the Palmetto Cup back then. It was in 2010. I was an open middleweight where I placed third, and I won the overall juniors. In 2011, that next year, I came back to the same show and won the overall in the open. I was a middleweight. I weighed in right at 176. By mistake, I thought I was going to be a lot bigger, but, it still worked out pretty good. Third show was in 2013, did the South Carolina State show that I placed fourth. I don't really even like to talk about that one. That was my first one. I just had a newborn, so I really couldn't put everything into it like I really wanted to. The most recent was 2014, was called the Upstate Classic in Spartanburg, South Carolina again, and I placed second in the open. I looked real good that show, just that the guy that won just looked a little bit better. Okay, since I gave y'all the rundown, let me tell you about that dude. Every single competition that you go to, it's always at least one guy. That one guy that basically sticks out like a sore thumb, and you like, why the fuck is he even here? And I hate to be discouraging because it's hard enough wanting to step up there when you're on point and when you look the way that you should look, much less look the way that person does and steps out there. But you want to know what? That person actually thinks that he looks a lot better than he does. And most likely he's probably from a small town or goes to a gym like a Planet Fitness or a gym where it's mostly women or senior citizens. And this person probably listens to the people that's around him and lets him and tells him that he looks good. And if you hear it enough, then you start to believe the hype, and then you tend to believe that you could go on stage and not only just step on stage, but win. So what I suggest is that if it's your first competition, yes, it's good to get the compliments from your loved ones, but just understand, most likely they have no idea what you're supposed to look like when you step on the stage. Or, being nice to you, they just telling you what you want to hear. Most likely it's the latter. So, what I suggest is, learn how to be your biggest critic. One thing that I do is whenever I look in the mirror, whenever I'm prepping for a show. A lot of people tell me this is a negative way to look at it, but it helps me. I just look at the flaws. Focus on the flaws. It'll keep you humble, it'll keep you hungry, and it'll keep you down to earth. You focus on the flaws, you will never get too big-headed. You focus on the flaws, you will know what you truly are, even if you step on stage and you're not where you really want to be. But the guy that steps on stage, it's one thing if you're lean, but you don't quite have the six-pack. Okay, I can understand that. But if you have hips, childbearing looking hips, your ass does not belong on the competition stage. Just stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. And one way, if you're a competitor, you can tell that you don't look good or look the way you should, is when you walk out. Normally, if you on point, you will start hearing a bunch of claps from the crowd. And they'll come from people that you don't even know. So it's genuine. But when you walk out there and it's silent, and then when we finally click in people's head, oh, let me clap for them, then you'll get those like pity claps. But even then, it really doesn't click in their head. You'll have the guys back there. You'll see everybody else take their stuff off. No homo when I said that. You'll see everybody else take their stuff off. And then here this guy comes. And you may think he's big as shit because he got the hoodie on and everything. He's looking full. So automatically, you're like, okay, it's a bodybuilding competition. I know he has to be lean. So if he's that big and lean, this motherfucker is going to be a monster. I hope I don't have to stand next to him. But then when he takes his shirt off, you hope that you do have to stand next to him because it'll be an easy win. This guy will have love handles. He will have, in the bodybuilding world, what would be considered a gut. The average person won't think it's a gut because it doesn't hang over. But you don't see any abs at all, no outline of abs. You have no idea where the abs will be sitting. You should at least be able to see the outline of them, but you can't even see that. The face will still be fat. You have the rolls in the back. And what they'll do is they'll put tan on, and they will actually put baby oil on because they don't know better. And that goes along with everything else. Anybody that knows any better, you don't use baby oil. You use Pam. Baby oil makes you look like you holding water, but that's a story for another day. But this guy, he'll go through the process and everything. He'll have that determined look in his face, that eye of the tiger, like he's just ready and he gonna go out there and kill that shit. Needless to say, it doesn't work out like that. Now, you will sometimes have some real big motherfucker in a super heavyweight class, and you will rarely have a legit super heavyweight in the NPC competition. So normally it's maybe just 1 or 2 people in that class, and he'll be lucky and he'll win that class because he's the only motherfucker in there. But he will take pride in it. But this is why you never listen to the people around your gym. I was lucky enough to have somebody that I was close to that helped me. Shout out to my dog, Jimmy. Somebody that was close to me and that would help me and still tell me whether I look like shit or not. Because he'll be honest with me. He's like, fuck my feelings. You're not going to go out there and embarrass yourself. And that was one of my main goals. Since I wasn't able to see a real competition in person, and my first one was the actual one that I competed in, I wanted to make sure that I was at least shredded. I didn't give a fuck about trying to maintain as much muscle as possible because I knew I already had it up under there. But I wanted to put my main focus on being shredded. So that's why I dropped so much weight, because I didn't want to take a chance of stepping out there, and a competitor in me wanted me to make sure that I put, the best package possible that I could when I went out there. I didn't want to go out there and embarrass myself, because once I set my mind to it and told myself that I was going to do this competition, it wasn't going to be no turning back, because I like to finish things that I start. So me want to look my very best, I made sure I was shredded, and I want to at least look like I belonged out there. But it just so happened that I was able to win that show. I won the Novice and the Open, and it worked out real good. But in every single show, that one and the other shows I did up to this point, it's always that one guy up there that somebody gassed him up. Or he might even lost a bet, and he's up there on stage. He doesn't look like he belongs there. He can't do the mandatory poses. He can't do a posing routine, and he just looks uncomfortable. So my suggestion to you is, if you're thinking about doing your first competition, focus on conditioning. Fuck size. Fuck everybody else's opinion. Don't ask your girl her opinion. Definitely don't ask your mama her opinion. Don't ask your workout partners their opinion. Make sure you're able to develop the critical eye for yourself. Be your own biggest critic. Don't be so quick to pat yourself on the back. Focus on the flaws. Because as long as you focus on the flaws, you will most likely, even if you don't come in where you want to be, you will at least be close. But if you steady patting yourself on the back, then you will end up being that dude that shows up to the competition thinking that he's more than what he really is, and ends up getting his ass embarrassed. That's all today. Oh yeah, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I'm out.